Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Oh, I tell you, I learn so much every time we get together with her. And this is all about Chinese medicine, acupuncture, herbals, and more. And as I've learned from talking with her as our professional of the year, that you always want to keep things moving. And that's what Chinese medicine is essentially about. And that's my interpretation of it. It's all about the flow. You want a positive flow. Today, we're going to talk about food stagnation. Doesn't sound like it's flowing. It doesn't sound like it's the best situation for all of us. So let's dig into that today with Dr. Kelly out of New York City, who is an acupuncturist and founder of Kelly 121 Acupuncture. Welcome back, Dr. Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
Intrigued because food stagnation doesn't sound like a good thing. Please explain.
Yes, actually, it's so funny. One day, I treated almost like 5 or 6 patients, all have food stagnation. They told me, Dr. Kelly, I overate. Dr. Kelly, I went to vacation, I overate. So every patient basically either went out with a friend or went to vacation. They all overate. So they had the food stagnation.
Dr.
I,
Kelly, can I interject here? This weekend, I overate. And I normally don't, but it was Saturday and it was just a laid back day. Had something to eat, a sandwich or whatever. And then in the evening, I ate 3 donuts, had an espresso martini. And that is rare, but so I'm listening because I was feeling that wow, I kind of overdid it. No major issues, but well, a little bit issue. But I wonder what's going on when you overeat. So sorry to jump in. Just wanted you to know that I'm hearing you loud and clear.
okay. So I can talk about one of the patients.
Sure.
He is kind of like a little bit, classic.
Okay.
So, um, on one day, I think Wednesday, so he drank a lot of milk. In general, he doesn't drink milk. But on that day, he drank half a gallon of the milk. Then he ate a lot of steak, like
Mm.
shrimp, like a lot of kind of like greasy food, meat, right, seafood, and dairy in general in Chinese medicine generates dampness and heat. So he said on Wednesday in the daytime, he's kind of like okay because he's walking, he's active. So when you are active, your qi kind of like still moving. So he was fine in the daytime. But then at night, in the middle of the night, he was waking up by the burning pain in his esophagus.
Ooh.
Like he said, it's so painful. He couldn't even like lying down because it's burning. It's a kind of like acid reflex. The stomach acid went up. So he said it's so painful. He couldn't fall in sleep. So next day he came to me. So I did a very simple acupuncture actually. We have stomach points. Well, we have stomach points, we have spleen points, we have also other points on the in the front. We can treat food stagnation. Very quickly, about 5 minutes, his pain was gone. So he's
Mm.
pretty happy. Um, but the point is food stagnation is not uncommon these days. We very easily to overeat. We got with friends, or family together or whatever. So the point is it's so painful. You couldn't even fall asleep. But you have to get treated or, it can cause major problem.
Mm. Now, are you saying that this situation presented more so because he ate too much?
Uh, One, it ate too much. Two, it ate too much greasy food, like too rich, like have a lot of
Yep.
protein, a lot of fats. a lot of dairy, like cheese. One of the patients actually said she ate cheese. Usually she doesn't. But her friend like, oh, come on, we're going out to have some fun. So she ate some cheese. Basically, greasy food causes the food stagnation. If you just eat vegetables, usually you don't, because vegetable is easy to digest, but greasy food is hard to digest.
Hmm. So what we're saying here is these foods that are harder to digest, like meat, takes a lot longer than it does, for, let's say, a vegetable. And it's just in your digestive tract, your stomach, and it's just sitting there for a prolonged period of time. And that's what causes some of these issues.
Yes, so basically the food stagnant, in the stomach, then because it cannot be digested, it's accumulated and making the heat. Also, it obstruct the qi movement. So the stomach qi is supposed to going down, but when you have food stagnation, the qi going up, basically went to the wrong way. That's why some people have acid reflux because acid should going down, but when your qi got obstruct, then it went up, went to the wrong way. That's why people have acid reflux, they have the burning
Ah.
pain.
Okay, because it's there for a prolonged period of time, it's not being properly digested. And instead of going that way, it's coming back this way toward your mouth, reflux, the esophagus, the burning, and all of that, right?
Yes, yes, you're right.
Wow. What is the, and I often thought about this, and I know there are cleanses out there and, all different ways. What is the best way to just if you wanted to clean out your system, now maybe get a fresh start, let's just say. Let's say you've realized it's time. It's time to make a change here and you want to, flush things out. Is there anything that you would recommend that can do that safely, the least amount of discomfort, that kind of thing?
Well, we have herbal formula can help to, help the food stagnation. We have acupuncture. Actually, a lot of my patients reported to me said after acupuncture they feel hungry or they want to eat more. So they asked me why. I said acupuncture actually can help the digestion, so make the food stagnation moving faster. And also, acupuncture can make the metabolism like higher. So can basically means, you eat the food with your body getting stronger, the food got digested, you use it up very quickly. So you may feel hungry again. So in that way, when you do acupuncture, you're not gonna have food stagnation anymore because all the food will be digested after acupuncture. So
So,
in that way,
yeah, I'm just wondering when would you make the decision to do acupuncture for food stagnation? I mean, is it well, I ate a lot and I don't want to feel discomfort, or we should be doing this on a more regular basis?
that's a very good question. If you feel overeat, definitely you need acupuncture for sure because you need the help to move that food. And actually, to my patients, even in the regular basis, like they just come in for maintenance or for pain, if I check their tongue, I feel their tongue is greasy or their coat is thicker than normal. That is a sign they have a little bit of food stagnation, but not too much to cause the pain. I will use some points to help the digestion. So in that way, you will not have the food stagnation because your stomach, your spleen getting stronger when you're doing acupuncture already. So all the food you will eat will be digested.
So, and we've talked about this many times before, and I find it intriguing that you can look at somebody's tongue and tell a lot. So, you could look at somebody's tongue and tell pretty instantly that they've got food stagnation.
Oh yeah, yesterday actually, the lady came in. She came in for low back pain actually. But when I look at her tongue, I said, your spleen is weak because her tongue is kind of like we call it kind of like fat, like a little bit like too big.
Hmm.
And also the color is pale and the tongue coat is kind of like thicker than normal. So I said, your spleen is weak. So you're gonna have digestion problem. She said, yes, I always feel bloating, gassing, and even I only eat one meal a day, I just don't feel hungry, but I gain weight so easily. She said, why? I said, because your spleen is not strong enough. So what you only eat one meal, but your body cannot even digest that one meal. And your body cannot even use that. So accumulate in your body. So you have edema, looks like you are gaining weight, but
Mm.
you feel weak. You don't feel strong actually. She doesn't feel energy. She feel very weak, very fatigued. So I said that the root is the spleen. So from, of course, I also check the pulse. Her pulse is also deep and weak. So her low back pain, her edema, she even have vertigo. She has, very complicated case, but the root is spleen.
Wow. I find it amazing that you can tell this just by looking at the tongue and yeah, diagnose different things. I mean, every time we've gotten together, we've talked about examining somebody's tongue, which, by the way, I've said this before, back in the day, Western medicine doctors used to do that. Tongue depressor would come out, they open your mouth, they check your tongue. They don't do that anymore. You're lucky if they even check your pulse, maybe your blood pressure. Um, Looking at somebody's tongue, how many different things can you tell from that? Is it many different things that present?
Well, the color can tell me the person has like a blood deficient or not, has like spleen deficient or not. From the tongue coat can tell me, whether food stagnation or eating greasy food. From the on the tip of the tongue, usually that represent the heart, the lung. So if person's the tip, tongue tip is red, redder than tongue body, we call it have heart failure. So this particularly like stressful, have anxiety. They usually have difficult to fall in sleep or stay in sleep. Um,
Hmm.
and also on the tongue, there's this, like different parts of the tongue represent different organ. For example, on the back of the tongue, that's kidney. We call the lower jaw, right? It's like upper jaw, middle jaw, lower jaw, our body separate into three parts. On the lower jaw, on the back of the tongue, some people have the indentation, kind of like like a, the tongue supposed to kind of like flat. But if their lower jaw kind of like have an indentation, usually mean that their kidney is kind of like deficient. So these kind of patients usually they have like lower back pain or knee pain. So and of course,
Hmm.
there are some people have an indentation at the front, that heart or lung. If they have an indentation at the front, some people may have like shortness of breath because their lung is not strong enough. They may easily like cough. So the tongue can tell us a lot.
Wow. So you're saying that you look at somebody's tongue, and let's say it sounds like the back of the tongue, you see something. Maybe it's a little bumpy, it's got that whitey kind of, like whitish grayish color, which many of us have. It sounds like you're saying that that could mean that the kidney is deficient, but then you also said that could also cause pain elsewhere. For example, knee pain, things like that. Did I hear that right?
Yes, yes, because kidney in Chinese medicine control the bone, like lower back pain related with bone, right? Like the knee pain related with bone. So if people have kidney deficient, they usually have lower back pain or knee pain or soreness. It depends on the degree. If the kidney is not too much deficient, they may just feel soreness. like
Hmm.
sore, like weak. Like some people like tell me, oh, Dr. Clay, I have to have a cushion on my back when I sit on a chair. Oh, I feel very uncomfortable. So they need that support because the kidney is weak. Some people's kidney is like even worse. If like too deficient, they may feel the pain. Then that's even harder, like more progressively like deficient. Usually, like for example, I have a lot of young patients actually. People who work in the big company. This group of people have one common is they go to sleep very late, like 2 or 3 a.m. Very common. So I said that's very bad because if you go to sleep that late, your kidney will be deficient. Then you may have like a lower back pain or knee pain or soreness. They said, yes, doctor, I do have that. So I said, look, you are so young, but you already have the problem people should experience after like 40 or 50. So let's all be called a lifestyle.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that somebody has some major health issues, if you identify something with the kidney looking at the tongue, right? When you say kidney is deficient or weak, what does that mean? I don't want to alarm anybody. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Very, very good, Steve. You ask such a good question. I think a lot
I'm
of
asking for myself, actually.
yeah, a lot of people like they feel like very nervous. Dr. Kelly, what do you mean my kidney deficient? So Chinese medicine and Western medicine have different definition. So when I say their kidney is deficient, doesn't mean if they go to Western medicine doctor, they check their kidney, run the blood work, they will have like the data, something off the chart or something. Doesn't mean that because in Chinese medicine, we have kidney channel and kidney organ. We also have the like before the organ really shows something wrong. Like for example, people who I said a lot of people come in said, I have diarrhea. I cannot digest food, but I went to the doctor, they run all the blood work, they said nothing wrong. But I, you know, have very bad diarrhea. So I said, that's because you're spleen deficient. So in that way, even you go to Western doctor, even you do all the blood work, all the imaging tests, maybe nothing wrong. But that doesn't mean you are perfectly healthy. So
Mm.
in that way, you should worry, but not worry too much.
It sounds like it's just like the check engine light is on your car. Doesn't mean that you have a major issue. It means you need to check into that. Check engine light could be anything. You left the cap off the gas tank when you filled it up. That your check engine light could come on just because of that. So that's what I'm getting. And by the way, um, maybe at some other time we'll do the tongue examination. Maybe we could do it through Zoom at some point because I looked at my tongue
Yeah.
a few days ago, and it looks the back of it has a little bumps on it, like sort of like you're describing, maybe a kidney deficiency, whatever. And I have knee pain. So I'm putting all the pieces together here. It's like, oh, very interesting. All right, maybe there's something there that yeah, I should be aware of. And if those things present, what's the next step for the average person? Should they talk to their doctor? Should they get acupuncture and see if things start to present better, if you will, and then go from there?
So the thing is, if they go to talk with their Western doctor, the doctor gonna say, okay, let's run some tests, blood work,
Yep.
MRI or X-ray. They're gonna say, look, all the number is okay, so you nothing wrong, don't worry. But in Chinese medicine doctor, if you have the sign of like soreness of lower back or the knee pain, or especially look at the tongue, right? I mentioned if you have the indentation on the back and check the pulse, your kidney pulse is weak and low and very deep. So which means even all the numbers saying you are okay, but actually you do need treatment. You need to tonify already. So
Hmm.
in that way, Western medicine doctor and Chinese medicine doctor are not gonna kind of like in line at this point because the degree of the deficiency is not that severe yet. Usually in Western medicine doctor, if the kidney is really, really like very bad shape, then they will say, oh yes, on the chart I see, this protein is lower, this blood work telling me, then they will say, yes, we need to treat you. But
Hmm.
Chinese medicine will say, okay, before we get to that worse, we already should treat already. So you may never get to that bad.
It sounds like you're going to pick up on something that could be a little off way before the Western medicine doctor is. And if you consult with the Western medicine doctor and say, yeah, I have a little concern about, pick anything, spleen, kidney, whatever, they're probably going to do labs, look at them, and it's going to be in the range of everything being okay. Doesn't mean that everything is perfect. It's just within that certain range. That's what I'm getting from you. Does that sound about right?
Yes, actually, that's the perfect example in the Chinese medicine history. There's a very famous doctor called Bianque. So Bianque is famous because he can treat a lot of people. They are like in the very, very severe disease. Because almost dead, he can, save their lives. They can live again. That's how famous he is. But he said, don't think I'm the best doctor in the world. I'm not. My big brother, if you see him often, you will never ever get sick. He's the best doctor in the country, but nobody knows him because he never treat very severe. His patient never even get to very severe disease. So the Chinese medicine, the best thing of Chinese medicine is to prevent you get sick. So if you get acupuncture regularly, you may never get to very bad shape. You don't need to do any surgery or whatever. So that's the
Wow.
best thing about Chinese medicine.
It sounds like it is the ultimate preventative for things that could go wrong down the road. Wow, thanks for sharing that. It's yeah, we learn so much from you every time we have you on here, Dr. Kelly. For acupuncture, you got to be in the New York metro area. New York City is where you're located. For all this other stuff, consultation, herbals, and all of that can be done virtually online by going to your website. And what's that?
On Kelly121 acupuncture.com.
Thank you so much for being here today. Truly appreciate everything. What an eye opener. I never saw Chinese medicine as maybe the first defense in your health. That's where you should start, in my opinion, then move on to the Western medicine doctor, because I'd rather start with the root cause than go to a traditional doctor and get some pills for the symptoms. Thank you again for being here. Looking forward next time we talk.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.